Alright, so I have probably a couple more minutes of sunlight. I just want to talk about self-awareness, guys. Literally just a heartfelt conversation about the topic and why it's so important, how it's helped me, and how if you learn how to tap into it, it could make the biggest difference in your life. In the last 5 years, right, I realized that I was not happy with the course that my life was taking. You might be thinking, big deal, right? The key factor in this equation, aside from the fact that I became quote-unquote self-aware, was that I became self-aware. But not only did I become self-aware, I realized that the problem existed, and I realized that something had to be done. So, with that being said, there's no value in figuring out, hey, something's wrong. Because if you figure out that something's wrong, great, you figured it out. But what are you going to really do about it? How are you going to take, not necessarily a problem, but an observation at the deepest level of your being, knowing that things aren't mapping out to how you want it to be? And how are you going to start working on getting that where you need to be or where you want to be, right? Because need is kind of like a loose word, right? Need is very subjective. It's all going to depend on the individual who is utilizing that word in a phrase, in a sentence, etc. But what is going to take you from observation to execution to implementation to putting it into practice, etc., etc.? It's connecting this to this. It's making sure that both of these are on the same frequency, kind of like a pair of walkie-talkies, and they're communicating with one another. If that isn't happening, guys, you're gonna be, you're both are gonna be functioning, but you're not gonna be in synchronicity. You're not going to truly, at all times, be one with the other in the sense of your mind with your heart or soul or whatever you want to, call it. So, sure, self-awareness is a very important and very, very, very important topic, but it's not just about being aware of what's going on with yourself, right? It's about the second part of it. What are you doing to correct it? See, I'll take it back 4 years ago. I was in an okay position at my old job, but I realized that okay position wasn't going to pay for my soon-to-be born son. It wasn't going to put a roof over my head for my then new wife, right? It wasn't mapping out to the visions of grandeur that I had, right? I've always been a big thinker, but I've been a shit fucking executor. Like, I think very good, but I'm terrible at executing. But I've gotten better in the last couple of years, right? I've always been very visionary, very philosophical, but that, to an extent, is only good for certain things. You need to be a huge thinker, but an even bigger executor. It does us no good to know what to do, but not know how to do it, right? Now, there can be value in both, right? There are people who get paid to share their ideas on what you should do, but the ones who get paid the best are the ones who do what you should do. Now, to not deviate too far from the topic of self-awareness, there's many ways to look at the topic, self-awareness, right? The main one is auditing yourself, realizing what you are good at, right? Jim Rohn said it best. Find something that you can do every day it for a living. What that means is basically we all have a skill that comes to us easy, right? Mine is, believe it or not, helping people. Before marketing, before business acumen, before insert random thing that I know how to do. Ever since I was a child, even in elementary school, even in middle school, even though back then I did have entrepreneurial tendencies, I would flip shit at school, etc. I have always been the person who people come to when they feel they need somebody to talk to. Am I going to be a psychologist? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even though sometimes I find that talking to myself is cheaper than going to see a therapist. I'm just joking, but that's what I've always loved to do. Help people. Help people in a nutshell. Before it was even cool to say this, help people become the best version of themselves. And I may get criticized, and you might say that I'm rambling, which chances are I am, because I talk up way too fucking much. But know that the message that I'm trying to get across is coming from a good place. That's one thing that will never waver with me. Whenever I try to share something with you guys, I really mean it from the best position possible. It's been an exhausting day, and sun's setting. It's cool. I'm on the way to pick up my son right now, and I just wanted to kind of touch upon the subject. Right, here's my issue. Right, what I'm doing right now is something that I never thought I would do. I am a huge introvert. I've always been somebody who loves writing. And I just feel that it's more impactful when you see the message coming at you through a video. That's how I learn best. I like watching videos. I like listening to audio. So that's why I'm, putting these two together. But I think I'm going to start doing something a little bit differently. And I'm coming up with this as we go. There's no script. I mean, if you look at my phone, it's off. I love writing. I just said that. I think I'm going to do a free flow topic about something, for example, this one, which we're talking about self-awareness. But then I'm going to try to follow up with an in-depth breakdown of it in writing. And then I'm going to add the link to Medium, to my Medium profile, with that link included. So for those of you who are hardcore about this, it's going to be a completely new format. I'm going to introduce the topic, then I'm going to go in depth with it in my Medium, and you'll be able to read a lot more into it. So I want to hear what you guys think about that in the comments. Also, like I said earlier in the video, when I ask you for something, I'm going to ask you for it. Please subscribe to the channel, guys. It means a great deal to me. The reason being is that you might not find value in this video. You might, depending on what you need to hear today. But there's also the notion that I'm going to be making an attempt to record every single day. Now, later on this year, in November, my family and I were going to be going on vacation. So, given, the fact that we may or may not have internet connectivity because we're going to be going on a cruise, I may not be able to, upload every day. But I guess when we get closer to that, I'll let you guys know what's going to be the deal with that. So, thank you for taking your time to watch the video. I appreciate you guys very much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.